Hey Sean, how you doing, buddy? So I said I would pop in here for the opening of the London session, and that's what we're seeing right now. Just opened about 10 seconds ago. Just want to check in and see what has happened. The Asian session is finished now. This is in the gray box that you see here, and it was quite a session in the Asian session. It mostly happened very, very early. We had a high of 51.98. It spiked up there to 51.98 and then came all the way down to 5013. So about an $80 move. And that's really unusual for such a difference between the Asia high and the Asia low. $80. Pretty big move this morning. But then it started to work its way back up. It came back up to our first support level. It became support becomes resistance right in there and just went across there for 2 or 3 hours. And then finally did break above that level. That was the level I was talking about this morning, or the 5,100 zone, and it broke above that, and then it went to the first pivot point, which was 5136. Just broke slightly above that pivot point, and then fell down. Stayed there for about in that zone for about 45 minutes, fell back down to what is now our support level, back at the 5,100. So I think this is what we're going to see now is range trading, sideways movement. You're going to get some moves up and some moves down. But I think we're going to see a lot of sideways movement during the London session. It might move back up to the pivot point and then fall back down. What was really unusual was that the Asia session, when it opened, this is Tokyo here. Tokyo took out the previous day low. That's the yellow line there. They took out the previous day low. That's from Friday. They took out the previous day low, and then when Singapore and Shanghai opened on this green candle here, you got that rejection of this next support level and below the previous day low. You could say that was a liquidity grab with the opening of Singapore and Shanghai, because then we had that huge move throughout the rest of the Asia session, and that went from 50.5024 up to 5140. So more than $100 move just in this move here. Doesn't look like that much, but the candles are deceiving. It's a big move. Now we're getting a, a bounce up from this support level, and very likely that we will continue moving up to this pivot point. At least that's where the first level that it needs to reach is 5136, where it has already been just a couple of hours ago, and it stayed there for a good 45 minutes or 1 hour before falling back down. So if the bulls are buying now, then that's the next price that we will see is 5140, 5136, 5138, 5140, right in that zone there. But I'm not going to take a trade in the London session. I expect that we're going to see some up and down, a lot of sideways movement over the next few hours, and I'll be keen to look at the New York session when Wall Street opens, and then very, very likely be taking a trade in the New York session. It could be that later during the day, as New York opens, or maybe London, late in the session for London, they will come up and take out the previous day high, or maybe even take out the Asia high. So this is where your liquidity pools are. This is where the liquidity is. So they might come out, grab all that liquidity, and then start back down. Gold is bearish on the 4-hour chart. It's still slightly bullish on the day chart. The gold is bearish on the 4-hour chart, and my bias is bearish. And that's because we have strengthening of the US dollar, and the stronger the dollar is, that puts more pressure on gold to go down. And if interest rates are likely to continue to be high for the US dollar, or maybe even go higher very soon in the next decision that they make, if they raise the interest rates, well, that's going to be not good for gold. High interest rates on the US dollar is not good for gold. People would rather have the safe haven of the US dollar, which generates interest, rather than to be holding gold, which does not generate interest. So in summary, my bias is bearish. So I'll be looking for an opportunity to sell. But if during this session they should climb to higher prices, I'll expect that they will just come up and take out these previous day high or the Asian high, and then start back down to lower prices. When we look at U.S. oil, it has dropped off a little bit. It was $110 earlier today. It's dropped down to just below $100. Now it's $9, which is likely to go up, I would say. The situation in the Middle East does not seem to have been improving at all. In fact, the situation seems to be escalating, and that's going to give us an increase in the price of oil for sure. Maybe 120, $130 today. We already saw a huge move from $88 to $110. And now it's back up to 100. It was at 99 just a minute ago, but now it's back up to 100. And here gold is in the opening of the London session, the first candle starting to come down again. So if it breaks below this support level here, then the first thing we're likely to see is lower prices back down to, first of all, our previous day high, our previous day low, which was 5062, and then maybe come back down and test the support level at 5024. So it looks like already with the beginning of the London market, we have bearish bias. The sellers are taking control. It's been moving down for the last hour and a half, and now looks like it's going to continue to move lower. Although I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to take a trade in the London session. I'll wait for the New York session. So that's it for me. I'm going to sign out. I just wanted to check in. Hey, Raj, you just popped in when I was just about to pop out. Just checked in to have a look at the charts and see what's going on. I'm not going to take a trade in the London session. I'm going to wait for the New York session. This was a good move here if you did a buy trade when Singapore and Shanghai opened. It did come all the way up to our pivot point there at 5136. It stayed around this 5,100 zone for a long time, and then around noon, my time, about 4 hours after this opening here, about 4 hours later, then it started to break above 5,100. It came on up to 5136, but it didn't stay there long, and now it's already coming back down. So that's the end of the Asia session. Now London is open, and we're not getting much movement just yet, but the bias is bearish. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not even going to watch for the next few hours. I have a meeting to go to shortly, and I'm just going to come back in maybe later, see what's happening, and then for the New York session, I will definitely be here. And remember, guys, that's an hour earlier than what it has been. We're now on the U.S. is now on daylight savings time, so New York Wall Street will open 1 hour earlier for us here in Asia. Those of you down under and other parts in the world that don't use daylight savings time. So it looks like the sellers have control here. They're pushing the price down. Just might stay around this zone here, 5,100. It's now 5,102. But I expected we might see this come down and retest the previous day low, or maybe come down even to the next support level of 50. The Tokyo market did take out the previous day low Friday, and then we had that, you could call that a liquidity grab when Singapore and Shanghai opened, and that would have been a really good uh, buy trade right there, and then ride that up to 51.36. So you're going to stay up late for the New York session. Well, not quite so late, but still late for you. Yeah, it could be interesting. It could be very, very interesting because the situation in the Middle East is still uh, very poor. It continues to escalate every day, and that's having a huge effect on the movement of everything. All right, guys. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to smash that like button. It does help the channel. I appreciate your comments, and I'll see you again next time. Have a good day wherever you are in the world.